You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know how I feel. Ooh. Ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. Ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. Ooh. feel. And you know how I feel. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Okay, now you can hear me. Okay, sweet. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, this thing is not working right now. Okay, sweet. I'm sorry for the crazy delay, y'all. This sucks. I was ready. uh, this sucks, y'all. It's always something, and taking everything remotely is so hard. My regular mic is not going to work, so we're going to be on this kind of field mic, which is not going to work out is great, but whatever. I cannot. I just want to say that, yeah. I this taking everything on the road, y'all, has been crazy, and it's like for my mic not to be working, it's so hard, to ask friends, can I come over and set up 3 hours early, and it's just, it's weird. So, whatever. But we're gonna just try to keep the mic here. We're doing a tech class anyway, so I don't think this would be a super big deal. But sorry for the super late start. Thank you guys for staying with me here. I really appreciate. I know that this has just been like goofy. What's been going on my end. If you can't remember, they're paving my road for the first time, and when they did that, they dug up all the internet lines or did something to the internet lines. And so I'm just in kind of a wait and see, and it's not, I don't know. It's not moving very quickly. It's a country road, so I guess they don't really have to. I don't know what's going on. So I don't know how long this is going to last. And, I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I think if we can make it through the summer, then I think we can keep momentum to keep the class going again in the fall. So anyway, yeah, well, let's go ahead and get going. We're doing a hands class tonight. And thanks for bearing with me on this. I think the music sounded good. Y'all should have heard music okay, and we'll just work on the sound situation here. I might, if it wouldn't distract you guys too much, I may fiddle with it, like when you would be working on an exercise or something. But let's see what happens. Hey, Jordan. Sweet. Thanks, y'all. Okay, let's do some sway. Thank you. Um, you may not feel that way if I can't get music to play. Are y'all hearing music? Okay, everybody, here's what I need to do. I'm really sorry to do this. I really need to stop streaming and just check stuff. I don't know if my computer's overheating out here. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to bring the stream right back. Just give me like a minute or two and let me reset these things because I don't know what's going on. I don't know if my computer's overheating because we're outside or what, but just give me 2 minutes. I'm going to restart the stream, okay? Actually, I think what I'll do, just to keep it real, is I won't restart the stream. I'm just going to go to the start screen and just give me a couple of minutes to work on this.
You know how I feel. 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 Ooh.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me. Okay, sorry. I've got the music figured out now, I think. And I don't know what's going on with the mic, but we'll just move on. I do have this field recording, but it'll just help me. I cannot hear it, so let me know if I'm talking for a long time without it being on. Let me know. The other mic I can hear in the speakers. This one I cannot, so it's a little bit trickier. I'll try not to move it because I know it makes a lot of noise when I do it. All right, I'm ready to start. I need to sway. This has been crazy. It's so funny, y'all, because I was so set up at 7:05. It's always the one thing that you don't test that gets you. I think I'm just going to lay off the sway because I think I'll have to yell so loud that I don't know if y'all will be able to hear me over the music. So, and I don't want to be annoying, so we'll just do a silent sway. hear both me and the music right now. I want to talk a little bit about hands, since that's what we're going to be working on tonight. And let me know if the music is too loud. Okay, I'm gonna chill. Sorry, y'all. All right, everyone that knows me personally knows exactly what's happening in my brain right now. This is like the non-perfection of this is killing me right now. But we're gonna move on. I'm gonna move on, and we're gonna talk a little bit about hands and have some fun. Okay. One of the first questions that I used to get asked all the time by hoopers was, especially beginning hoopers, especially when we were core hooping, was what to do with the hands. And I wasn't very helpful, but I would just always tell them to just move them. And that never really worked. But when I told people, or when I invited people or asked people to think about their hands as birds, suddenly people could move them. And that was really like one of the first times that metaphor became super powerful for me in my teaching, was that I had been trying for probably years of local teaching to get people to move a year of local teaching, trying to get people to move their hands. And then when the two birds came in, suddenly people were moving their hands. What's cool about the body is that you give it like any kind of metaphor, and it can kind of put it together and make it happen quicker than anything you could draw or come up with or write about. You can say something totally silly to the body, like I want to be windy seaweed, and the body can become windy seaweed before you can even imagine what that would be like. Don't move your hands in your normal, like sort of free flow dance without the hoop, then it's hard to learn how to move them with the hoop going. And there's no shame in that, but you can just put a song on like we're doing right now and just practice moving the hands. One of the things that helps me come up with ideas or be in ideas with my hands is to think about them being made of different substances, right? Like, so if my hands were made of like helium or some sort of light air, their natural sort of want would be to move up. hands were more earth, if they were more lead or iron or heavier. And then one thing about our hands is that they anticipate shapes. When they go to grab something, your brain anyway, is anticipating its shape. And so the hands can kind of feel shapes even if the shapes aren't really there, just by, lots of experience. And so like we can create, like if I curve my fingers in, and I know this is kind of, might be a little corny, but if I can curve my fingers in, then I can kind of create this sphere. And this can be like a great movement exercise if you're feeling uninspired to move your hands. And if you just can't get it, if you just can't imagine it, you can try it with a real, ball. But the idea is that by, whatever you're doing, whether you're seeing the ball or actually holding the ball, that it's inviting your arms to move, to really open up. I love this track. Thank you guys for that feedback. Okay. Man, I love that track. All right, so I'm going to relax about everything, y'all. All I need from y'all is to tell me what the mix sounds like, because I can't hear me. So when I have my mic on, my headset, I can hear me, and it just helps me balance it out better. So you can say more music or less backs or whatever, and that'll help me get it right for you. Oh, sweet. Okay, actually, why don't we go ahead and let's go ahead and get our core hooping, let's kind of get it open. Let's do one song of core hooping here with some two birds. Something kind of chill, though. This will work. Yeah, this will work. Okay. All right, on the way. Nice. Okay. All right. Y'all are telling me to chill out, and I really appreciate that. All right. So that same ball, and this is really helpful for beginners, and we never forget our fundamentals in hooping, we build on our fundamentals our whole time of hooping. And so, you can have a lot of fun with this ball metaphor, or some space, or some shape, that you create with your fingers, or whatever it is. You can have a lot of fun with it and become a badass core hooper by just moving that movement around. And I'm keeping this at the waist right now, but I could, all this can be done, of course, at the shoulders. Actually, not to skip ahead in the class, but a lot of people get shoulder hooping with this exercise, because what they don't realize is their shoulder hooping has always been a little wonky because one shoulder's going crazy. Pretending you're holding a ball, or actually holding a ball and then stirring a pot or going against the current, this will create like new shoulder movement, and you sometimes it helps to sort of smooth out your shoulders. Sometimes it's like I don't want to miss this over the music, but let's move up to the shoulders now with this, since most of us, this is a beginner class, but most of us know how to do shoulders if you do, but bring it up. Even if you don't, this might be a trick. But when you come up this time, I want you to focus on the rotation or the movement that your hands are making. So I'm here, and I'm just going to make sure, or I'm not going to make sure of anything, but I'm going to move my hands around almost like I'm stirring some big pot. And that creates like one kind of motion. Whenever I want to slow the hoop down on the shoulders, I stall with it. Throwing your hands out, using the ball technique for that can help. All right. Okay, sweet. All right. I mean, I just had the best two birds. Just now, like, not the best for y'all. That's the thing about a lot of the HoopPath practices are not really that showy for people, and it's gonna be tough, to show people like what you learned in HoopPath, because it's pretty boring. But it can be amazing, right? Like to feel that, and I just was having my own sort of feeling about two birds and just how motivating just focusing on your hands can be. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's never boring. All right, but now that we're warmed up, I do want to talk about the hands. We're going to spend most of our time on the hands tonight. Yes is the answer to that, Rita. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But thank you for asking that question. Okay, so let's do some. Let's keep the energy going a little bit. And let's bring in. I don't think this song is going to get us kicked off, but we're going to go ahead and talk about hand rolling, or just rolling in general. I don't know what it is in the flow world. I used to know all this stuff, but in the HoopPath world, this is called the day plane or the sun plane or whatever. But this is, the plane of reality that runs this way. Runs across this way, and I am rolling in that plane. And usually I use my forearms a lot when I'm doing this, but I think I'm going to focus on my hands tonight. I have toughened them up. Sometimes it takes a little toughening up of the hands before you feel comfortable with them rolling across.
Don't be shy, don't shut your eyes, don't get high. Expand your mind. Don't keep in touch, don't touch yourself.
I'm just feeling the vertical roll across my hands, over my hands. And right now, I'm not too worried about the cradle. I'm not too worried about what it's rolling across with my hand, or whether it's my forearm, my wrist, or my hand, or whatever. I'm more focused on right now just the movement of me. Isolations are essentially your hands drawing shapes in the air. So they're probably the most handsy idea of all of the hooping, but my hand is drawing a shape. If I'm holding the hoop in like a northern sort of isolation here, like this northern arc isolation, I'm just gripping the hoop in samurai right now. But my hand is essentially drawing the shape. If I'm going to go all the way around, my hand will be basically trying to draw the shape of a circle while holding something, which is hard. I can't be that someone who can be like water. Why can't I be the answer you want? Trying to demo this. I don't know if it's showing up, but I'm trying to demo just how handsy isolations is, and that, if you think of it more like your hands are leading the hoop in isolations instead of just, trying to muscle this thing around, it can smooth it out and just give it a little bit more of an airy feeling. The other thing that you can pick up from kind of the other flow arts, especially like flow on, the whole flow on is sold by the movement of the other hand. Like that's really, that's a big part of the whole illusion and badassness of flow on. And so you can do that with hooping. Actually, yeah. Actually, I think maybe this will be a good time to try this. And we did a version of this not too long ago in a class. But for this next exercise, we're going to move back into off body. But we're going to try like warrior type movements, but incorporating the hand movement with it. I'm still trying to hopefully keep that connection of the hands that we just had. I'll try to not talk so much so we can just keep the flow going. Hey, Louisa from work. So what I'm focusing on right now is moving my hands, thinking about these isolations, but also thinking about my other hand in them. And there's no wrong. I mean, it can be helpful to think, like, go ahead and become your full energy master, you know, and just think that you can control the hoop with your hands and energy fields from your hands. Incorporating that, your dancer mind knows how to interpret all that. Okay. Okay. So we're running a little bit late because of the late start. All the songs I want to play right now will totally get us kicked off. I may have to cut class a little bit early for the normal time slot because we did get a late start, and I don't want to be late here for my brother. Now I'm fully sweet. But let's go back to rolling for a second because, and here's the thing: everybody has different hand sensitivities, so just do what you can. But I want to talk a little bit about the cradle and kind of give you a chance to. I mean, I'm moving like crazy here. I think I've actually this will be better. Okay, So I want to talk a little bit about the cradle. And the cradle is basically like what the hoop is going around. At least this, I'm sort of hybriding. I'm creating sort of a hybrid of different terminologies here, but the cradle is essentially what the hoop is rolling around. And so, like, if this would be a point cradle, you could say, because I'm not putting any grip on the hoop at all, right? And then if I start to apply any kind of grip, so then that would change the cradle, right? And like, there's some teachers that, or Emma, I think, calls it the dead spider versus the happy spider. But just within rolling the hoop, there's lots of different cradles, and one that I've talked to you guys before about is called mountain. And this is when your fingers come in and they make kind of a cage, and the hoop is rolling on the outside of your fingers there. And so it looks kind of like this. And it may not be exactly on the fingers or whatever, but the main point is that you have all 4 fingers inside. And that's called mountain. And it may not be for everybody, especially if you have heavy hoops, but if you have lighter hoops, you can kind of feel the cool shit that cool stuff that you can do just by feeling into that type of way. This is if I were to close my fingers like some kind of, that would be a very closed cradle, very open. And what I invite you to do for the next 3 minutes is to play with that cradle. And maybe your cradle is 2 fingers, maybe 1, 3. Like, you could practice. It's fun to just practice with 1 finger, just drawing. Another type of cradle that's fun for isolations is this kind of, I don't know, I always call it the cigar, but nobody holds a cigar like this, but like 1 finger down and the other finger's on top of it, and then using pressure on those 3 fingers or 4 fingers or whatever to create isolation. okay. So we're going to have a shorter class tonight. I'm going to do one more song and then call it a night. Thank you guys for joining me. We'll be back. Thanks, Nama. We'll do one more song to call it a night, and hopefully we'll be back next week. This is the last song, though. You guys are very welcome. Thank you. Have a great night. Okay, y'all, have a great night. I'm gonna head out. I just realized that, like, nothing makes the hoop feel more like a toy than having to go get it and bring it back to play with. All right, anyway, y'all have a great night. Thank you for joining me.